The Z Fold 8 is effectively Samsung's mini tablet offering that then folds into a phone. The iPad mini is, well, it's just a tablet and stands absolutely no chance against the Fold 8. But honestly, that isn't what I want to compare. Let's go. There is almost no point in comparing these two based off the categories that they live in. Not only the categories, but the iPad mini is far cheaper than what the Z Fold 8 is. But here's the thing, I'm not comparing them as devices that compete against each other. Although in some ways they kind of could. And I do actually have a video planned on my second channel where I'm going to put this and the Fold 8 together, but this will be paired with a phone, the 17 Pro Max, and this will just be on its own to truly see the value of having a 2-in-1 versus 2 devices. Go subscribe to More Tech, More Benefits to keep up to date with that. The thing I want to compare is the software experience on iPadOS on a form factor like this versus Samsung software experience on the inside display. Because when Apple released the iPhone Ultra, their foldable, I dare say they're going to pull a lot of experience from this form factor. So I'm going to be ignoring the foldable element completely for this comparison because what I want to do is compare them both open. So it's really just a factor of comparing the software. And the software is going to be customization and multitasking. They're the two big things I want to see. First, we're going to start with customization and we're going to start with the iPad. Honestly, I haven't used an iPad before. So for me, I was kind of shocked to see how bad iPadOS is at taking advantage of screen real estate. If we go into the settings, you can see the home screen and app library menu that a lot of the customization or changes you can make for the home screen exist in there. But the thing is, I was wondering where all the settings were because what's in there is sparse. There's a toggle at the top to use large app icons if you want to. Doesn't do much. There's a toggle to choose to newly add downloaded apps to the home screen or just to the app library. There's a little dock heading. This allows you to have the app library on display, kind of like an app drawer, I guess you could call it. And there's a section and a toggle for show recent apps in the dock. And that's it. No grid size changes. You can't change how many apps are displayed. It's very bizarre. And that's where I went in and saw you can only have 4 apps across in portrait orientation on the iPad mini and only 6 in landscape. Just wild. The dock underneath, you can add multiple apps down there and there doesn't seem to be a limit. And it scales appropriately, kind of like the way the dock does on macOS. I just couldn't quite fathom the fact that I couldn't move apps freely if I wanted to. If I wanted to move it to the edge, it just bounced back to where it needed to go as opposed to where I wanted it to go. And it just doesn't allow for that home screen customization that a lot of people would want out of a tablet like that, or maybe what I would want. Anyways, that was realistically it. You can obviously do things like the glass icons, whatever it is, liquid glass, and you can make the apps bigger from a certain point too, but it's just not a lot. Let's take a look at the customization home screen settings for the Fold 8. Freaking tons. When you go into it, so you pinch to zoom, go to home screen settings, there's a lot just in this basic oneui menu. You can scale the size of the app icons with a slider. You have toggles to turn off the app labels. You can choose the layout of your home screen, whether you want it to be the app drawer and the home screens or just the apps everywhere on the home screens. You have the grid, which you can customize, and there's some default ones in there, but then you can go into Good Lock and even extend that further, and I'll go into that in a moment. You can change the grid size for your folders. Again, Good Lock can expand that too, and I'll go into that in a moment. You've got the area where you can adjust how many recent apps are shown in the recent apps area on the dock. So if you don't want it to be too crowded, you can turn it off altogether, or you can have up to 4, customizable. And you can just see the list there is pretty endless in what it is you can actually do. And then Home Up inside Good Lock further extends that. Now, I know it's not a first party, well, kind of is, Samsung do develop it, but it is still there as an option and you can create further customization because of it. That's pretty simple. You can go crazy with the home screen grid if you want. You can have it be 12 by 12, which means 12 apps across, 12 apps vertical, and that can really fit more in on the expansive display that you have. And you also can extend the favorites area, which is effectively the dock from the iPad, down at the bottom and fit more apps down there too. The app drawer, you can extend that list and grid out as well across so you can truly take advantage of the width. And you can also create pop-up folders. So again, it doesn't dominate the entire display, takes advantage of the space where it sits. Endless amounts of customization inside Home Up in Good Lock that truly allows you to take advantage of the space that you have. And then when you see the final result, you see how you can scale things a lot better and truly optimize the Fold 8 in a display versus the iPad one. Man, I don't know how Apple is going to change this for their foldable, because I just think Apple are too stubborn. They think there's one way of doing things and they don't really allow you to flex on that, even though the phone will be able to. One small credit to Apple, there is a dynamically adjusted portrait orientation versus landscape, which is nice, but the app's 4 across is just insane to me. It just doesn't sit right with my brain. Just if I could highlight what some of you might say, and that's the 4 apps across issue. And yes, my Z Fold 8 has 4 apps across in portrait, but if you notice, there's a bit of a gap between the 2 apps on either side in the middle, a gap that you cannot replicate on the iPadOS because it doesn't allow me to put 2 apps either side and have the gap in the middle. So I just thought I'd highlight that before anyone decides to, jump in there. Anyways, we will continue back with the video. Now on to multitasking. And this for me is interesting because all of this stuff about how Apple is just easy to use, I really don't buy into it with how they make it work on an iPadOS. There's a menu in the settings called multitasking and gestures. Seems pretty straightforward to me, but there's 3 options in there and it's really hard to know which one's the right one. You've got full screen apps, windowed apps, and then you've got Stage Manager. Starting with full screen apps, this is pretty straightforward. There's not really multitasking available with this option. Basically, the way this will work is if you launch an app, it just goes into full screen. And there's absolutely no way to launch side-by-side apps, bring in pop-up windows, nothing. It's fixed, full screen, that's it. If you're not into multitasking or split screen work, then this is probably the one for you because you don't have to think about it. It just launches it the same way the iPhone does it. There is some built-in gestures with 4 and 5 finger swipes that can go back home with a pinch or swipe to the next one with a swipe, but that's pretty much the extent of it. The next one in there is windowed apps. This is a little bit more what I'm talking about when it comes to multitasking. When you do select this, the toggles underneath do shift and change, and there's some extra ones that you can enable. And this is the one for me where iPadOS and macOS kind of blend together a little bit. Depending on when you've last launched an app, if you're launching it for the first time, it will launch into a full screen version. This way is how you can launch split screen multitasking. I'll get into that in a moment because I want to talk about the gestures that are enabled because of this mode as well. If you swipe up from the bottom right corner, you can see a little thing there and you swipe up and then it brings it into a pop-up view and a windowed view. And the animation there is quite smooth. I'll give them that. It's very, very fancy and brings it into that pop-up. You can also grab the windowed app and just slide it around and it'll move to where you sort of flicked it to. Again, very intuitive from a animations point of view. When you've got an app open, you can swipe from the top and the center and it brings up the little menu bar, very macOS-like, and it's got the little 3 dots where you can long press and orient things to where you want it to be on the screen. And granted, there are some good examples there of how you can position things into different grids on the display. Very macOS-like though. And if you're using macOS, you know how to do that pretty seamlessly. There's one thing I don't like about it though, and that's the home screen behind it with a pop-up window just disappears. All your app icons, everything that you had set up there, gone. So if you wanted to launch an app from there, well, you can't because it's not there. You have to swipe away the app from the screen and then it brings your home screen back, which I don't know if I like. And if you want to bring split screen into view, like drag and drop, you swipe up to bring the dock into play, long press on the app and put it in the position that you want to place it in. And then you've got the 2 apps next to each other. You can easily change the size of them too with the little slider in the middle. But when you want to rotate into portrait and keep working in split screen that way, well, it breaks the entire experience. It just doesn't like it. And there's no easy way to seamlessly rearrange the multi-window format too. You have to individually change each app to suit where you want it to be, which I think is just a bit of a long process. Then you've got Stage Manager. Pretty much the only difference I can see from Stage Manager versus windowed apps is that Stage Manager, when you have an app in a windowed format, it has a list on the left-hand side of visuals of what's currently open. And then you can drag and drop them into a window as well, and then it replaces it with the other one that was there. Yeah, I mean, on a screen size this big, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I can maybe understand it from a bigger iPad, or even if you have Stage Manager plugged into a monitor, that can maybe make sense. But on here, I don't know. I think for me, the biggest one I prefer from the Apple multi-window environment is the windowed format. It's still a little bit clunky and it's still not as straightforward, even with all the nice animations. It just feels a little bit like empty, I guess you could say. I also think too, Apple's scaling for displays with its software just doesn't line up with reality of how big the display actually is. Perfect example is the keyboard for the iPad mini. when you're in landscape. Let's say you've got two apps next to each other. Maybe you're watching a video on one side and you want to take notes on the other. The keyboard is just massive. It's overbearing over the apps that you're trying to use. There is the option to split the keyboard into two halves of the display, but I don't like how it does it because it puts it into the middle and I couldn't figure out how to drag it down. I'm just not sure why that's anything anyone would want to do. When you're doing this in portrait, it's a lot better. The keyboard is a lot easier and a lot smaller and actually scaled appropriately to the size of the display. Then we pivot to the Fold 8 and its multitasking. I don't know where to start because there's actually not really a lot you have to change. It's pretty much set up for multitasking from the start. I guess what I'll show first is inside advanced settings. There's a bunch of things you could probably turn on to enhance the experience. First one is inside labs. You'll probably want to enable multi-window for all apps. This just ensures that any app that doesn't support multi-window does support multi-window by force. And then whilst you're in there, there is a multi-window menu heading inside advanced features, and there's some things in there that are worth turning on. You've got the swipe for split screen toggle, where this is a 2-finger swipe for split screen. You've got swipe for pop-up view, which is very similar to the way Apple does it, except it's a swipe from the top left. Show app handle in full view. That's kind of like Apple's menu that they have, where you can have a menu for each app, and you can also show that app handle in split screen too. Make sure that's turned on. And then you got full screen in split view. So this will actually expand both apps to be full screen and hide the dock and also hide the notification area. So it truly fills the space. And that's the sort of main stuff inside oneui. There's a whole bunch of good lock ones too that I could go into now, but I don't want to break everyone's brains. There's already a lot of information in here. So starting with how it launches an app. So if you have an app launched from the dock or from anywhere on the home screen, it'll launch it full screen. There's a number of ways you can enable split screen. You can use the 2-finger swipe in from the side, and that'll bring up a list of apps on your phone, but also the apps that are currently open, which you can open into that part of the screen. You can also bring the taskbar up and then just drag an app into that part of the screen and it'll launch. You can also drag apps into pop-up view that way too, from either edge panels or from down there, and it'll just pop it up into a windowed format. That multi-window tab that I sort of talked about in the settings, you can see it at the top there, and pressing that brings up a little bit of a menu of sorts where you can drag it into a pop-up, you can expand it in full screen, a few things you can do. When you do pop it out as well, you do have the option to make that menu permanent in the pop-up state. The thing I like about when Samsung have apps open in split screen is the little menu that sits in the middle. You can press on the 3 dots and it brings up some extra options. You can rearrange how the apps are placed on the display. So if you want things to be ranged opposite, or if you want things top and bottom, you can just press it and it'll move it. Apple doesn't have that. You have to do each one individually. Future Dan back again for another expose on things I missed. App pairing. That menu, if you've got an app pairing that you use frequently, you can press the 3 dots, hit the little star icon, and you can add a pair of apps, or even more if you've got 3 apps, into the taskbar. And then anytime you want to launch those pairs, you press it and it launches it straight into split screen. There's no need to launch them individually. You can launch your favorites straight from there. Again, just another little touch that Samsung have added over the years of foldable development that I guess puts them ahead before Apple even has begun. Also, rotating the apps one split into portrait doesn't break the whole experience. It stays split. It's intelligent enough to know that. And unlike Apple with pop-up views, it doesn't hide everything behind it. You can still see the apps on the home screen, and if you want to launch one, it launches it in behind the pop-up view, which is nice. Dragging from the top left corner does drag things into a pop-up view. It's not as fluid or as fun as what iPadOS is, but it's just as effective. And I think that's the big takeaway I have from everything Samsung has with their multi-window stuff, is it's not as fluid and the nice animation touches aren't quite as there, but the actual experience is, I would say, more efficient and more effective. And then the keyboard experience on top of that, I think Samsung does a better job at scaling their keyboard in that split screen environment, especially in landscape view. Not only does the split view work better, but you also can control the height of the keyboard, meaning you actually can create more space at the top and your typing at the bottom is a little bit more controlled. Ultimately, of course, where you land will come down to your preferred operating system. And I get it. Lots of you are stuck in your iOS and iPadOS ways, so it's really hard to imagine using anything other than that. But this is where I think if you just expanded your brain a little bit, Samsung are more effective at taking advantage of the space on offer. Apple are very limited. And I guess some people prefer that limitation because they don't have to think as much. But I think if you just wanted to think a little bit more, you actually can do a lot more from just your phone, and your mini tablet actually is a mini tablet, not just a big iPhone. And I think this is where Samsung's advantage is in play. They've had the experience of not only developing foldables for 8 years, but of people using their foldables for 8 years. That usage data and that user experience has all been fed in to create the experience we have now. Apple don't have that. They have people using iPads like an iPad, which a lot of people just use iPads for entertainment and maybe some creativity. There's not a lot of touch points that they have of people using like a phone and a tablet together. It's going to be interesting when they launch their foldable as to how they manage that software experience. I'm definitely going to be curious, and I'm assuming people will want comparisons from my point of view, so I'll try and get the hand on the phone to be able to do it. Hit subscribe if you're interested in that, because that will be coming. Also, go check out More Tech, More Benefits, because I will be doing that day in the life type comparison of the iPad mini with the iPhone to just the Z Fold 8. We'll see how that plays out as well. And I'll see you guys in the next one.